All right, welcome back, or welcome if this is the first time you're clicking on my face, but be warned, this is a follow-up to a video I did a little over a year ago regarding a knife I impulsively purchased as sort of a novelty experiment. And I wanted to do a little follow-up on that because it turns out I can never really tell which of my videos are going to get a lot of hits and which ones really aren't. And this is one that not only got a lot of hits, but continues to actually get a lot of hits. And it kind of still surprises me that it does. And we're talking about this 5-inch mini biltong Kukri, which again, I bought kind of impulsively and consider it kind of a novelty knife, not necessarily a practical knife. But in that video, I did consider, well, does it have practical application? Or perhaps if I like this blade size and shape, would it be worth, say, getting a more practical knife of this design and size? And yeah, we'll talk about that here a little bit today and more so in future videos. But had this knife for a little over a year now, and I have to say, practical use I haven't found a lot of. It sits mostly on my stand over there. Every once in a while I pick it up and try to do stuff with it, and I just find it not very useful for a couple of different reasons in terms of being an everyday utility sort of knife. One thing about it is it's got a very, very thick spine for a fairly narrow blade, so you're talking about a 1/4 inch thick in the spine. And I have tried to reprofile the edge to make it a little bit more slicey. But what I've wound up with is kind of, well, it's very much like a hatchet's edge, if that makes any sense. And then combine that with this rather narrow and very round grip. A couple of issues come up with this, and other commenters have pointed out similar things. Some have found, this is a pretty useful knife, pretty cool knife. Others have found it's pretty problematic and frustrating, and I'm kind of siding a little bit more with the problematic and frustrating. Let's take a look at a couple of comparative cuts to begin with. Now again, I've tried to put a better edge on this knife, and out of the box it was reasonably paper cutty, but not the best. And yeah, you can see biting into paper. Once it bites in, it's okay, but not the best compared to, well, let's go with this cold steel Spartan. It's kind of a more modern design. Oh yeah, that's going to be a lot more slicey. What about something a little bit more utility oriented, since it is a stout knife? Well, I've tried to do some, branches and wood carving and stuff like that. And again, it's just very much more like a hatchet than a knife. So when it comes to cutting cardboard, yeah, this is a job. If I put it to a job like this, I very quickly, there's a lot of ripping going on there. I very quickly give up and go to, well, another knife that's better at it. Yeah, so. All right, so here's my thought. I have a couple of custom projects coming up here where I'll be spending some time on the sanders and the grinders trying to, do some custom work on some knives that I've got coming in. But just kind of a warm-up, I wanted to take a shot at, can I put a better edge geometry on this knife? Now, I may also look at different grip geometry as well, because again, round grip, especially with this forward curve, yeah, its tendency to twist in my grip is also fairly high. Can I improve that as well? Now, I feel like this is, because there's not a lot of steel to work with, I might be just simply ruining this knife, and if that's the case, this video may never see the light of day. But I'm going to take a shot at it, because at this point, I'm not terribly connected to this knife. Let's see what I can do. Okay, just got in off the grinder and the sanders, took quite a bit of steel off the blade, giving it a much higher saber grind. Not quite finished with it yet, but let me see if I'm on the right path. Okay. Better. Still a little inconsistent. Let's try that cardboard test again. See how crazy this is going to make me. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Alright, that recurve still kind of messes me up a little bit in something like this, but alright, that's an improvement. I also started flattening out the sides of the scales to give it a little bit more grippiness, a little less tendency to turn in my hand. Let me do some finishing and we'll see what the result is. Alright, did some polishing. Still having a little struggle with my own transition using it from the inside of the curve here to just the belly. It's not bad. Let's try what I've come to call the Kyle test. Cardboard again. Okay, better. As good as some of my other knives that I often put to tests like this? No. But I think putting that higher, more acute saber grind on it definitely helped. Also, making some changes to the grip shape. It doesn't have quite the tendency to twist in my grip that it used to. So I'm going to start trying to put this to more utility use, see if this is an improvement. Maybe I'll even take it further. I don't know. If so, I will give you an update. And like I said, I've got a couple of knives coming in that I specifically purchased with the intent of modifying. So you're going to see that content soon. This kind of thing is interesting. Let me know in the comments if you want more advice on doing anything like this. And I've mentioned why I don't specifically video myself while I'm doing it. Part of that is it's a long process that's pretty dull and kind of looks like watching paint dry, and part of it's probably going to get me demonetized because there is often some cursing involved. But until next time, thanks everyone as always for watching, subscribing, following the channel, getting our conversation going in the comments, and I hope to see you back for, well, whatever I experiment with next.